Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first ever solo stream. I'm Clay. That's Clay. And unfortunately, Tom couldn't make it tonight. As we've talked about on stream before, it's a pretty busy time of the year for him. And, you know, life happens. So, I am going to stream some solo Keyforge. Now, I know that it might look a little strange to you guys at the moment. I apologize for that. I thought about many ways of doing this in the approximately 4 hours since I decided I was going to do this. And this seemed to be the best way possible. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep going. It probably won't be as long of a stream as normal. I'll probably keep it right around an hour, maybe a little more. And really, part of what I'm going to be doing is talking about lines of play tonight. I am going to be trying to teach the game slowly. Not really like not a how to play Keyforge, but I'm trying to do it as an introduction to Keyforge type of play. I am, of course, not one of the most accomplished players out there, not very well known in the community. If you're looking for somebody with some very deep competitive chops, look at Tabletop Royale, look at Coach Blake, Boulevard Paper Fight, Dave Cordero. I'm forgetting like 1,800 people at the moment. Lady Aurora, all of them super awesome folks that can give you some amazing deep knowledge on the game. I just like playing it and have discovered some lines of play that have won me some games. So that's what we're all about. So to start with, I have 3 Mass Mutation decks on this side of me on my little rickety turntable thing. And I have 2 AOA and a Worlds Collide deck on this side of my rickety turntable thing. I've got a Grunt Buggy deck, a Worlds Collide Star Alliance logo Saurian deck that I really, really like. It's a Captain Val Jericho deck. It's quite fun most of the time. And I have an AOA Shadows Logos Disc deck that is among my most favorite things ever. It's undefeated as far as organized play goes. It shows a different record, but that's because I, the player, lost at the Triad Vault Tour in Vegas with it. Twice it won both rounds that I lost. The other decks let me down. So, and on this side of me, I've got a Mass Mutation Triple Rad Penny Seeker Needle deck with Dis Shadows Saurian. I've got Permastare the Acolyte Miner. You may have seen it on stream previously if you've watched. If not, it's an 84 SAS deck. Caveat, SAS, in my opinion, doesn't track Mass Mutation or AOA very well because they're combo enhanced. There's a lot of intricacies, but it's also kind of a fun deck to play. And then I've got a Dis Logo Shadows deck that I've been trying to get a chance to play because it looks good. I played it once, or no, I haven't had a chance to play it at all. It was one that I recently opened. So I'm going to roll a die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a 5. So I'm going to start with Samantha Z. Dimcrow, Clay from Reality, and Clay from Not Reality. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4. That's the Worlds Collide deck that Alternate Universe Clay will be playing. I'm going to give both of these a quick shuffle, and then I am going to roll a die, and then, well, roll 2 dice, and then roll 2 dice again. Because Alternate Clay doesn't play around with flipping coins. And he's the man, so in the meantime, Keyforge is a very interesting game. I love it a lot, obviously, because I'm streaming solo. my Keyforge journey at the moment. But if you're newer to Keyforge, $10. $10 buys you a deck. I know that there are a lot of people out there who say oftentimes that Keyforge can be a very expensive game to get into because getting the best deck possible. Really, I've found that yes, there are some truly amazing decks out there, and there are some decks that your particular deck will not beat. A lot of it's in matchups. I am of the opinion that a lot of reps with the deck, learning how it wins, how it loses, is a lot more important. Archon Solo is not the only format there is out there. There is mini formats. My English is going downhill as I'm trying to keep the noise going. I wish this guy would talk some. So that you can play with not the best deck in the world, and you can win and find good success if you're willing to put the time in, if you're willing to try the game out and learn. Yeah, the first deck you open might not be a banger. The second deck you open might not be a banger. One of my favorite decks in the world to play two of my favorite decks in the world to play are both in their mid-60s on SAS, but I've played them so much that they are fun. I'm not saying they aren't powerful decks, but they definitely have things that they lose to immediately. So I recommend trying it out, sitting down, playing, finding what works and what doesn't. Give your decks reps. It's a lot of fun. And we play the game to have fun, not always win. So I'm rolling for, alternate universe clay is rolling at the moment. And alternate universe clay rolls a 5. Regular clay is going to roll a 6. It's doubles. This isn't Monopoly. We don't get to roll again. So I'm going to draw 7. And if there's a mulligan decided when I play solo, I do it at the time of the start of the turn. So I drew 7. I will decide whether to mulligan. When I swap, I will draw 6 and decide to mulligan then. I also draw face down when I'm playing solo. Proof that you don't need friends. I have a lot of practice playing solo. So that I'm trying not to give as much information away as possible so that my lines of play are clear. And I also will sometimes not allow myself takebacks. I think today I will because I'm talking a lot. Normally I'm concentrating on the game. And this is going to be a mulligan for this deck. I definitely don't want to start with a Grim Reminder. Starting with Soul Fiddle actually isn't a bad idea, or Beware the Ides, but I don't want to start out with this much Amber control in my hand in recursion with this deck. So I'm going to mulligan down to 6. I'm just going to give it a couple shuffles so that we can get moving here. Because when you're solo, you don't have anyone else to fill the time. So it really feels like I am talking about 3,000 miles an hour at the moment. And I'm kind of out of breath. So, okay. So I drew into a 3/3 hand. Saurians and Shadows. I've got one of my favorite combos ever, Seeker Needle and Rad Penny. I've got a Magus Asp in my hand. I've got Beware the Ides, Library Polosaurus, and Perfectus Ludo. Now for this turn, I'm going to start with a Seeker Needle. It's a pretty benevolent play, but next turn it will allow me to drop 2 Shadows creatures if I call Shadows, and automatically pop the Rad Penny back into my deck to shuffle. So there aren't any Purge shenanigans or anything like that. Yeah, it might get discarded, but I'd rather have a Rad Penny in the deck than in the hand at the moment. So I'm going to drop the Seeker Needle. I will ready. I will draw 1. And I will pass turn. And now comes the test. If only you guys saw. This is on furniture sliders at the moment. And I'm not sure it turns really well. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Mortivus. Yeah, this is my introduction to streaming solo. And Mortivus, who is a master at it, go check out his Twitch if you're watching this. Yeah, I normally get a co-host, which makes my life a lot easier. because I can just grumble a little or concentrate fully and not try and entertain everybody else. Yeah, I'm definitely going to work on getting a Lazy Susan. Oh, okay. This is a Worlds Collide deck. It's a little jarring going from Mass Mutations to Worlds Collide. I haven't picked up another set, I think, since Mass Mutations came out. I think I've played maybe one game, personally testing some decks. I'm not going to keep this because it's 2/2/2. I like the creature count, but I'm also not really interested in that hand at the moment. It had some artifacts, it had some stuff to lay down, but what I really want is to get this deck going, and this deck likes to mulligan for Captain Valjerico. Sometimes even if it's an okay hand, I'll mulligan for a key card in the deck. And this is going to slide back and forth a bit during the stream, I apologize. And in this deck, it is definitely Captain Valjerico. Captain Valjerico turns on a lot of lines of play in this deck with Logos. Because honestly, with this deck, you kind of want to call Star Alliance and Saurian most of the time. So being able to pop those Logos cards out without having to call the house is a pretty good line of play. And look, there it is. So I'm going to call Star Alliance and play down Captain Valjerico. Since Star Alliance is my active house, I can play one from another house. I'm going to play a Tricerian Legionary, and I'm going to ward Captain Valjerico. I, for some reason, when I'm playing, always try and give my leaders taunt automatically. Wait. I actually did that line of play wrong, but I'm not going to allow myself to correct because I need to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to zap. Deal 1 to a creature for each house represented among creatures in play. I should have played it after I played the Captain Valjerico. That way I could have pinged the armor off. No harm done. Would take a damage. Now I'm not interested in splitting, even though they both have 1 armor, because I don't want to remove the ward. So I'm just going to deal 2 to the Tricerian Legionary. And take my licks and keep on ticking. Yeah, Valjerico hitting the board early means that Real Universe Clay, which is playing the Mass Mutation deck, is in trouble. Alternate Universe Clay is evil and plays with no holds barred. Whee! So. Okay. I'm going to give somebody motion sickness. I can almost guarantee it. I'm also going to slide one direction or the other, but that's okay. So, I drew an Axiom of Grisk last turn. That seems like a good card to play because I have the removal in hand to get rid of the Captain Valjerico. So, 2 chains to get rid of Jericho, I'm pretty okay with. So I'm going to no. I'm going to play Perfectus Ludo. I'm glad I caught that because this would have been bad. I'm going to Axiom to ward a creature. Destroy each creature with no amber on it. Pops the ward. I guess it wouldn't have mattered. But I'm learning as I'm going. Axiom. Get 2 chains. And then I'm going to Beware the Ides and use this card for what it was designed for, and that is killing leaders terribly. So Valjerico's in the center of the battle line. Deal 23 damage to it. Then I'm going to play a Library of Polosaurus. I will ready, shed my chain, and draw 3. It was a really good thing I had that removal there. I think that letting the Jericho sit on the board, any leader really sitting on the board doing nothing for more than a turn or 2, means life is about to get really, really grim. Okay, what do we... Oh, and drew into what would have been a check turn with Captain Valerico with this deck. Now it's really iffy because I've got 2 upgrades and a weak and all win and no creatures. So we're going to go with Saurian. This is one of those dreaded not do much turns. Play Red or Gallum, play Golden Spiral, and pass turn. This deck is really good because it has triple Red or Gallum and a weak and all win, so you can sometimes tax them to death and then forge your own key for 4 unless they have some taxing, so it works out pretty good. Draw 2. Start giving everybody motion sickness because I'm starting to get the hang of this. As I look over and realize that the board's probably completely off the camera. So I think Shadows is the good play here. As I talked about the Rad Penny before, now there's an Amber to steal. The disc does nothing for me. It's 2 cards. I think getting down, drawing 3 for my last chain is the definite clear line of play here. So I will play a Red Penny, steal 1. Play a Massus Asp, and play a Nexus. I also tried to choose decks with board wipes and steady removal so that I wouldn't have to deal with very wide boards on the Lazy Susan. I will Seeker Needle the Rad Penny, game 1, and shuffle Rad Penny in, and then I'm going to draw 3, shedding the last chain. So that alternate universe Claymore over there has a way to tax me, but hopefully we can get some good draws going on with this deck and get ahead. Draw 3, shedding my last chain, readying, pass turn. One of the things when you're evaluating a deck that I really would recommend making sure that you concentrate on is first, how that deck wins. And second, how that deck loses. Because sometimes we remember the first thing really well, and then we forget the second thing very badly. And that can end up being not so much fun. So, I've got a Star Alliance creature now. I pulled this Crassosaurus, which I don't like having early in the game. So it's got to be Star Alliance because I'm dropping 4 cards. Still missing that Captain Valerico. It's sad that this deck doesn't have any recursion. So I'll play Sensor Chief Garcia. I'm going to Cloaking Dongle the Sensor Chief Garcia. That gets me an Amber. I'm going to Universal Translator the Red or Gallum because he has elusive, and this gives me an alternate line of play. Sometimes I'll stack up if I plan. The thing with an upgrade like an off-house upgrade is I will stack up a creature if I know I'm going to call that house, if I have a good train. But I'm going to split the upgrades here because I have a feeling that I might end up calling Saurian more than I will Star Alliance at this point. And then I'm going to play a Weaken All Win. Keys cost -2 until the end of my next turn, which still makes my opponent's keys cost 6 with the Sensor Chief Garcia. Then I will ready, draw 4, and pass turn. Whee! So basically my job on this side in real world Claymore is to not give my opponent an Amber so they don't forge a key for free. Sounds fairly straightforward. I'm going to call Dis because I have 4 discards in hand and it seems pretty good. So we're going to start off with a Soul Fiddle. I'm going to Dominator Bauble and do a damage to the red Orgellum. I will play a Snarette, and I will Wail of the Danged that Censor Chief Garcia, which this card, Wail of the Damned, is going to be amazing in cross-set play. So you can't kill their Dusk Pixie or their Fuzzy Gruin. Still seems pretty good. I will ready, draw 5, made it completely through my chains without hurting too much. That's always a good feeling when you have something that gives you chains. If you can get through those draw mitigation turns and still be okay on board and amber, I've always found that it feels really good. Some of the combo-y things that captured at the end of the turn are really helpful. Card advantage in Keyforge matters. So being able to get through those 2 chains, making sure that the Val Jericho's dead, that deck's solid on board presence, seems to be in pretty good shape at the moment. Which brings me to one of my next points that I sometimes am watching people and will yell at the camera. Don't stop playing just because you're behind. Yes, there are players out there who are very good at knowing that the game's over, but don't give up. Like, play it out. Play it till the bitter end. I mean, you know when, like, if they're on check for their 3rd key, and you're going, I can't stop it. Yeah, pick up, good game. But sometimes drawing that out is a possibility, so play it through as long as you can. Until you know you can't, keep playing. Oh, I think this is a Star Alliance turn. Yeah. Not going to forge, so Star Alliance turn. Going to play Tactical Officer Moon, which is really good with Captain Val Jericho. I really like it in this deck. Rearrange the creatures. I am not sure that this deck has anything other than Positron Bolt that matters, so I'm actually going to move the Massus Asp out. The reason for that is either direction, either flank, I can play the Positron Bolt next turn and make sure that I'm actually icing a creature. And then I'm going to play Lay of the Land. Haven't played with this card much. I maybe should have done it first. 3, put 1 into my hand, the rest back in any order, and then draw a card. Well, there's no Star Alliance here, so I know that I'm going to draw 2 of these. So since it's 2 Saurian and 1 Logos, I'm going to do that. The Tau Tau Vapors might get me deeper, but I'll also be building that hand and building that Saurian momentum that I'm looking for, especially with the Universal Translator out. I'm going to try and make myself forget between the turns because it might seem unfair that I know these things. It's hard when you're playing solo. I will draw 1. I can't remember what it is, honestly. I know it's a Saurian card, though. Like I said, if you're testing decks against each other solo, sometimes it's not the easiest. That's why lots of people play on the Crucible Online, which is a very fine program. So yeah, this side, Real World Clay is very angry. Real World Clay needs to get into check. Real World Clay talks about himself in the 3rd person. That's not narcissistic when you're streaming yourself, to others, and talking in the 3rd person. I'm going to call Saurian. Play Fighter Teeth, which comes in stunned. That's Gladiodontus. He's a very big person. going to Sagittarius Gaze, gets me an amber, and says exalt a damaged creature, so I'm going to exalt the Rettergallum. Going to Library of Polosaurus to move one from a friendly creature to my pool. So if I'm sitting over here right now, I'm thinking that my opponent is building up quite the hand of Logos cards at the moment. Hasn't called Logos at all this game. Has a good chance that has a literal fistful of Logos cards at the moment. So what I'm going to do, since I put that amber on Rettergallum, is I'm going to reap here. I may have double thought this, but I'm thinking at the moment, from this player's perspective, that the chances, me fighting into that doesn't make sense because they're probably going to call Logos, and I can kill it later. And then I'm going to humble to exhaust a creature. And I'm actually going to exhaust the Tactical Officer Moon here. No, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense because he can tax me with Rettergallum. So I'll just lose that amber. Call it a misplay. Because I don't want to get taxed out of forging this first key. And hopefully that doesn't happen, even though Golden Spiral is a thing. So I will ready, draw 3, and check with 7. I'm pretty sure this person's going to use something to keep him off a key. But we shouldn't let people know that. There's some suspense involved. Okay. Picks up Fistful of Saurian cards. Says, I will play Saurian. I am going to play Crassosaurus. Why? Because there's 10 amber on the board. And while it's going to blow up 3 of mine, if he dies and it goes away, it's going to blow up 7 of my opponents. And then I'm going to put an Imperial Scutum on Crassosaurus. There are certain things that make you cringe. That's a combo that does it. Then I'm going to play Theros-Centurion, play Rettergallum. Oh, at the end of turn, would have captured. So I would have had a Golden Spiral, the Rettergallum, to reap first. So, would have captured. That's good. We're there. Reap, which will allow me to reap. I messed up the sequencing on that quite a bit. I also forgot a static trigger. My opponent forgot the static trigger as well. So we would both receive a judge's warning at the moment. I will ready. Fortunately, I could fix it. And draw 4. Pass turn. Now, the problem becomes, I don't remember if this deck has a tempting offer. This deck does not have a tempting offer. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Patronage would be just fine right now. No, it wouldn't. Proof that sometimes cards you think aren't that good are pretty good when you're playing against another set, because I've heard some people down talking tempting offer a lot, and get me 10 amber right now. Every card has a use, even if it's only in very, very specific circumstances. Think I have to call Dis here. Yep, gonna call Dis here. We're gonna start off with an Infernus, who has a capture icon on him. So I'm going to capture onto Gladiodontus. Then I'm going to purge. There's not a lot of amber control at the moment, so or amber totals at the moment, so I'm going to purge the Jericho and the Lay of the Land to make my opponent lose one, just in case. I maybe should have waited on that, but there is a double Doom in this deck, so I'm hoping to get into it and leave the Crassosaurus alone until then. I'm going to Wail of the Damned to capture one onto the Massus Asp and kill a creature with no bonus icons. I'm going to kill this Rettergallum. So much for talking about decks that have so much board that I don't have to worry about extending anything. That might become the case very, very quickly. I'm going to put my amber there. I think you can all see it, hopefully. And then I'm going to play a Dark Minion. Okay. Going to Soul Fiddle to enrage the Rettergallum. Reap with Snurret. Dominator Bauble to Reap with Nexus. I'm going to use the Golden Spiral to Exalt. This creature, ready and use it, so I'm just going to ready and unstun. So that I have a big boy to fight with too. I will ready. Continue to cry a little bit inside with my 3 amber. Draw 3 cards and pass turn. Continue to console myself by saying, at least it's not too much to protect. Even though I would have preferred that, because it's 7 amber, not 1. Okay, I am going to call Saurian because I have 3 dinosaurs on the board. Now the thing about enraging the Rettergallum there was opponent has an elusive creature, so not the worst thing in the world. So, can call Saurian. Rettergallum is going to fight the Nexus. That removes the enrage. Therocenturion is going to fight and kill the Nexus, because I don't want my Golden Spiral locked down for the foreseeable future. Crassosaurus is going to reap. No. Crassosaurus is going to kill the Snurret because Crassosaurus has 4 armor. And we'll take no damage and get rid of that. I will then play yet another Rettergallum. And then I'm going to tribute. Gain an amber. Capture 2. I will exalt to capture more. ready. And draw 2. Tribute, Crassosaurus, Imperial Scutum. I've never actually gotten them all out on the board with this deck. Sometimes you get to draw really well. I didn't think I was going to play the Crassosaurus to any effect. So, yay me. Okay. Still has a pile of amber. In this case, I'm going to call Shadows. Massus Asp is going to kill the Therocenturion because of the poison and skirmish. We'll play a Rad Penny to steal 1. Play a Rad Penny to steal 1. Play a Frank the Economist. And then I'm going to Seeker Needle. I think this Rad Penny to shuffle. Not sure if that deck has a Perfectus Ludo. I actually don't think it does. I think it's literally just Scutum in that deck that keeps the amber from just sitting there for a bit and turning into a great big piggy bank. So, yeah. We'll see what we draw. Draw 3. Pass turn. Eee. Okay. Okay, this has to be a Logos turn because we're getting critical mass. So, Logos, play Seismo Entangler, Hologramophone. There's so much amber on Crassosaurus it can barely hold up the weight. Gonna Tau Vapors to draw 2 and archive a card. That was actually a really good draw because I drew 2 Logos cards and had a non-Logos card in hand. Okay, this, I don't know if this is a play that will work. Could move that. There's not really anything I can kill other than the Massus Asp with this combination of damage in my hand. Well, in the Dark Minion. Yay me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with a Thorium Plasmate and move the Asp here. We'll take 2. And I'm going to Positron Bolt, 3, 2, 1. So all my guys take 1. He has armor. Dies, goes away, dies, dies. That's the most bang for my buck there with those creatures. Gonna play a Prescriptive Grammar Bot, which is just a hilariously fun card. And then a Dysania. The Dysania works really well in this deck against high efficiency decks. Obviously not playing a very high efficiency deck. But I will ready. And he's also got taunt. I have a lot of creatures to protect. And draw 6. Pass turn. I would like to point out that there are still no keys forged. Just so everybody knows. No keys forged. in case you were wondering. No keys. Yet. Also, when you're playing Keyforge against yourself, sometimes it feels like it takes forever. Partially because sometimes it does take forever. Okay. This is a pretty quick call. It's pretty easy to say, I'm going to call Saurian. I'm still looking for that double doom. I don't have very many creatures that the Crassosaurus can just run into and die instantly because Gladiodontus only deals 5 damage when fighting. So Crassosaurus is only going to take 1 from either of these guys. And I'm okay with that. So we are going to call a Saurian. And drop down Dreadbone Decimus, the best of all assassins. And I'm going to deal 1 damage to my Rad Penny. Because shuffling in your Rad Pennies is never a bad idea. It's just not. I realize I'm shuffling like garbage, but I'm trying to hurry. So, I will choose to exalt him and kill the prescriptive grammar bot. I'm going to play a Consul Primus and a Dark Centurion. Either of them have a play effect. I actually really like Dark Centurion. He's cool. Get a library to move this one. Actually, I'll move it off of Dreadbone Decimus. Gladiodontus is going to reap. He will ready and become enraged, because that's his fight reap ability. And I'm going to fight and kill this Red Orgalum, taking 3. Alternate Universe Clay is probably got an answer in their hand for 6, but I'm going to reap with Perfectus Ludo. And hope that I've locked them into Saurians. So I will ready. Draw 3. And say, I need a drink. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about is playing a deck like this. I really like the triple red penny Seeker Needle. I actually really like this deck. It kind of fits my playstyle. I'm more of a control-y, slow, grindy player that everybody hates. You know, your local shop's worst blue player, except for I don't play blue when I'm playing Magic. And so it's kind of I like to control the pace of the game, have big turns, slow build-ups, then play 6 cards, slowly craft my hand. That's the kind of person I am. With this deck, I'd never realized that Double Doom was going to come in handy so much against Worlds Collide, specifically Callipyge and Ideal Imperial Scutum. I mean, I knew, but I haven't played a deck like that, so it just clicked. So, again, very important to play your decks and play them against different types of decks, different decks that win. I am extremely interested to know what kind of mass mutation deck fights against a really good Grunt Buggy deck. Just curious. Okay, look at my archive. Look over there. Seems like Saurians is the way to go. Yep, Saurians is the way to go. Because I have a plan. I don't know if it's a good plan, but it's a plan. I can keep my opponent off the key this turn. I can generate enough amber to get into check. I will be giving my opponent 1 amber, but I can live with that. So, going to maybe I'm not. No, because it won't kill it and I need it to die. Going to Imperial Scutum here. Gain an amber. I will reap with Red Gallum. Exalt to make my opponent's keys cost +3. Haha, take that, real world clay. Going to Golden Spiral, Exalt Dysania, and Dysania is going to fight the Dreadbone Decimus. Dreadbone Decimus has a fight effect. If it has 4 damage on it, it's not going to fight very well. So I will do that. My opponent gets that amber. Still not forwarding because of key cost. No, I did that wrong. This should be the dead one. The amber's the same. That should be there. Yes. That's what I did wrong. I wasn't thinking. I have a play that I'm setting up for next turn with my Logos Code Monkey to put Dysania into my archives. So, Legatus Raptor. Reap. Oh, has Assault 2 and would kill it. See, these are the things that don't happen when you have a real opponent in front of you. Because you have 2 people parsing information instead of 1. I will draw 2. I looked at them because I'm starting to get into the habit of that. Check with 6. Pass turn. Okay. Now, pretty sure if this deck drew the double doom, it's not going to double doom on the Red Gallum. Did draw it. Is going to take this opportunity to use it because I have a board wipe to follow it up with. And I have Perfectus Ludo out still, so the Gladiodontus will lose that amber. So I'm going to call Dis, Reap with Infernus. I would have looked at my opponent's deck list and known that they didn't have Interdimensional Graft. But I don't remember if this deck has Interdimensional Graft. It does not. I didn't think it did. I thought Crassosaurus was the only way to deal with Big Amber. Then I'm going to double doom the Crassosaurus. And I don't even know how much amber was on the Crassosaurus, so we're just going to put it over here. A lot. That's 10, 11, 12, 13 amber on the Crassosaurus. Crassosaurus goes back to hand. Scutum falls off. Now, opponent can play the Crassosaurus, but now I'm less worried about that amber just not being available to me. And good news is, I have a chance, a small one, of discarding the Crassosaurus. That was not a Crassosaurus. That was an Imperial. Okay. I'm going to Dominator Bauble. Do I ward the Gladiodontus here? No. I'm going to Dominator Bauble to Reap with the Consul Primus. And I'm going to move this amber here. No, here. Then I'm going to... Yep. That looks good. And then... I'm going to not bother with Soul Fiddle because I'm going to Skixuno. Oh, I would have discarded Gateway first. Now I'm going to play Skixuno. goes away because of Perfectus. No destroyed effects on this side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counters. 6, 7, 8. So 6, or we'll go with 4 and 4. Don't use dice in organized play. I get that. That goes away. Damage. They're all gone. This is one of the points in the game that I like to call critical mass. It's 9 power Skixuno. Draw 3. Checking with 6, 12, 18, 23 amber. For the first key, I'm checking with 23 amber. Go, alternate universe clay, Kalsarian. Oof. This is one of those hands that you just kind of, ugh. I think I'm actually going to run these guys out because I can do some damage to the Skixuno here. Hopefully it won't be able to fight the Crassosaurus off the board. I'm going to give my opponent a key, but it's also not going to make me have a 1-card turn, which does not feel good. Especially considering I only capture 10 with Crassosaurus. So opponent still forges 2 keys. So I'm hoping for an out here. So I'm going to call Logos, and I'm going to play Code Monkey, Titan Guardian. Going to Seismo Entangler for Dis. I will Hologramophone to ward the Code Monkey. Going to Positron Bolt the Skixuno. And then I'm going to play Thorium Plasmate to move an enemy creature. Oh, I should have forged. Nope, I shouldn't have. I was at 5. That is correct. I will check, draw 4, pass turn. 1, 2, 3. Now this allows me to potentially draw into the Tribute, which could be the game. So it's one of those turns that, you know, Hysteria is really good in Worlds Collide. Bounce is good. This game is not going the way I thought it would. I figured it would be a lot quicker. I also figured that a lot of people would not be watching, and so far I seem to consistently have 2 viewers, so this is very entertaining. And thank you, Mortivus, for stopping in. Very much appreciated. Draw the final one. Okay, Real World Clay, here we go. I will forge for 6. Forging that yellow key first. Normally not something I do. I'm a blue key first type of person. It's kind of funny, but it's the thing. I'm going to call Shadows here because I have 5 Shadows cards in my hand. Why not? This deck has a capture icon on a Relentless Creeper. It's actually really cool. I'm going to start off with a red penny and steal one. I'll just make sure I have enough to forge 3 keys. Going to Seeker Needle that red penny. Kill it, gain 1. It goes back in. Now if you'll notice, I've got 3 red pennies in this deck. I'm down to 7 cards. So, at this point, if say I had all 3 red pennies in there, and 5 Shadows cards in hand, if I only had like 4 cards, I would actually probably only play 3 cards out of my hand so that I could draw the 3 red pennies one more time following, if at all possible, to get that extra red penny draw. Sometimes when you've got things that shuffle back in, you really need to manipulate that deck. The same with Igor, Survey, Scout Pete, things like that. You want to make sure that you're getting the most value out of your cards without hurting yourself. In this case, I wouldn't be hurting myself by drawing 3 red pennies. I'm going to play Shadowsaurus and Finch Cloak, and then I'm going to one last job. Gain the Amber. Purge each friendly Shadows creature. 1, 2. Steal 1 for each creature purged this way. 1, 2. Mass Mutation Amber Burst. Go Gadget. Play Darkwave. Pops the ward. Deals 1 damage. And deals 2 damage. Already. And draw 5. Checking with 23 once again. This is when my opponent over here, Alternate Universe Clay, kind of knows that they're probably going to lose the game. I mean, it's kind of a given at this point. But, not going to give up. Going to hope for something good. So, I think we do that this turn. Yes. That digs me deeper. That wards him if he lives a turn. Okay. I'm going to look for my outs here. This is a pretty big tell on your opponent. Sometimes you're like, can I draw into anything? So, potentially best draws possible at the moment are, I draw all 3 Red Gallums if I play Star Alliance. That's taxing for 9. Next turn. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 has that, but the Crassosaurus would make it impossible for my opponent to turn around and win, and I have the Scutum in hand. Tribute plus 2 Red Gallums is probably the best draw. Plus I have the Golden Spiral, so I can activate one of the Red Gallums. So, let's go for broke. I think that that's my chance of winning the game. So I'm going to... But it doesn't get me into check. Still going to do it. Still going to go with Star Alliance. That's what my gut's telling me. That's how we're going to roll. Play Commander Chan. Play CXO Tabor. Play Medic Ingram. I'm going to heal and ward the Titan Guardian. I'm going to Cloaking Dongle, Medic Ingram. Medic Ingram, one of my absolute favorite Star Alliance cards. I will ready. And the thing there is I could have played Crassosaurus and gotten rid of that. My opponent still has enough, and I'm only drawing 2. This way I'm just trying to stay in the game at this point. So, drawn 3, pass and turn. Hoping to draw into some tax. I was hoping to have some tax in that hand because there's a lot of tax in that deck. Didn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't matter what's in your deck if you're out of cards. So I forge for 6. And if that deck had a too much protector and interdimensional graft at the moment, this deck would be losing terribly. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I would have went that high. So, Forge. I've still got 17 amber. We're going to... Ooh. Is there something I could Grim Reminder into? Bunch of Saurians. Bunch of Dis. Is there a way I cannot draw up? I play these two and kill one. Then borrow the Golden Spiral? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, because I can borrow the Golden Spiral, I can run the Rad Penny in. Because I'm still going to steal two and capture one. So that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to play the Shadows turn. The Shadows turn actually really matters for the sequencing. So I'm going to play the Red Penny and steal one. I'm going to Seeker Needle this Red Penny. That gains me one. Shuffles Red Penny in. Go me. Gonna play Red Penny and steal one. I'm going to borrow. Remember that in Mass Mutations you always run down the list first. Capture onto Skixuno. Take control of an enemy artifact while under your control it belongs to House Shadows instead of its original house. Take control of Golden Spiral. Activate Golden Spiral. Exalt a friendly creature. Ready and use that creature. Ready Red Penny. Red Penny is going to run into... Nope, not run into the Titan Guardian. Is going to run into CXO Tabor. CXO Tabor takes one. That goes there. Red Penny gets shuffled. The reason I did that is I only had 4 cards left. I'm going to draw 3. And that allows me one more turn to snipe off as many Red Pennies as possible and make sure I have as many Red Penny plays as I potentially can. That's why we have Purge and Discard, because Red Penny is, while not as good as Autoencoder, pretty close. So I will ready, draw 3, and see if my opponent has an answer for 21. Oh, I'm playing against myself and I forgot to flip the key. We all do it. Okay. Alternate Universe Clay. Really need some Saurians here. Really. Didn't get there. Just drew 3 Logos cards. I don't think there's any combination of win here. Okay, Star Alliance won't draw me a card. CXO Tabor will let me play the Crassosaurus, but I can't draw off of that. Code Monkey, I don't have anything Logos in my hand. So it's possible if I still had the Golden Spiral, I could have reaped with CXO Tabor to play the Tau Tau Vapors, but that's not an option. So capture 10 means that opponent's still at 11. Scoot them. Tribute would not have done it, because that's Tribute. So I needed that card. It's good that I tried to go as deep as possible with the draw there, but that's game. There's no way. What was the bottom card there? It was yet another Rad Penny. So there were 2 in hand. Would have definitely drawn one before shuffling. Probably would have just went Shadows, play 2 Rad Pennies, recurred 2 Rad Pennies, or killed 2 Rad Pennies, one with the Seeker Needle, one with the Golden Spiral, because still netting 1 amber gain every turn. Yeah, those are the breaks. Sometimes your opponent generates obscene amounts of amber and you don't have a way to deal with it. That's why, honestly, when selecting your Archon decks, sometimes you need something with mass amber control or heavy taxing. I will not say that it is required. I know there are players who will get around that, but sometimes it's a good idea. I really like decks that have a board wipe and mass amber control. I'm a big fan of Doorstep to Heaven from Sanctum. I think that was a cool card. If I find a Legacy Doorstep deck in Mass Mutations, I'm going to be pretty interested because Sanctum has some really cool commons in this set. So, I'm going to play one more. I realize that, you know, I'm having fun. If you're watching, hope you're having fun too. So, Samantha Z-Wave won that against Captain Manticore Laturnus. That's interesting. That's not my best Worlds Collide deck. I think it's just a very fun Worlds Collide deck. So now we are going to play 1 through 3, 4 through 6. Let's get alternate universe clay does not get to roll. Real world clay gets to roll. This is some high quality production content, people. If you're ever going to start your own stream, do better than me. So, I'm going to put that away because the table's a little cramped with turning this. So, Barely Ripped Paul is 1 through 3. Upswine is 4, 5, and 6. Upswine. Versus Fiona is 1 through 3. Permastare is 4 through 6. Oh, 6. So it's Permastare versus Upswine. Okay. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to roll for Permastare and then I'm going to roll for Upswine. Whichever one wins is going to be Real World Clay. 5 on... I don't remember what I said. 5 on Upswine. 9 on Permastare. So Permastare, Upswine. Hot take for this match. Pretty sure the Upswine's going to destroy it. But I've been wrong, and could be a really interesting match. I think Permastare has a lot of problem creatures. That is honestly one of Upswine's biggest strengths, is it has a lot of problem creatures. And most decks can't keep up with it on removal. But that's not how Upswine wins. Upswine doesn't win through its creatures. It wins by making you deal with its creatures and generating a bunch of amber in the meantime, not by reaping, but just by playing cards. It's a really fun deck. I'm a big fan. And the other thing that I would like to point out before I get into this is I have more reps with Upswine than all but one of my decks. So that also could very well affect this matchup. Because reps with decks matter. Okay. Permastare has a punctuated equilibrium, which is very, very good. I actually think punctuated equilibrium's won this deck a lot of games. 6, 7. Okay. It's 2/2/3. Dropping that after I've dropped that seems pretty good. Seems like a good start. Don't have anything in my hand I hate. And like, I don't want to mulligan into both of my rad pennies, so this is one of those times that I'm going to keep because I consider Essence Scale to be a good opener. I consider most artifacts to be a good opener, but I really like Essence Scale. Getting it down, making sure that I can use it when I need it is always a good thing. Okay. Whee! I don't know if I'm getting better at this or it's just becoming more fun because I like it. Cut. Draw 6. This is definitely a keep with this deck. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is why Upswine does Upswine things. So we are going to call Logos, play Cutthroat Research, play Poke. And you might be wondering why I'm doing it this way. Play Pip Pip, then play Wild Wormhole. I don't think I'm going to hit the Nerve Blast here because it's in my hand, but I might hit the Unlocked Gateway. I wanted to get everything out of my hand. Oh, Schuler, that's not bad. Now we're ready. Draw 4. Pass turn. These turns with Upswine are going to go fairly quickly because Upswine honestly is a pretty straightforward deck. But it also is a deck that likes to hold certain cards at certain times. So I am going to call Untamed, play Gloriana's Attendant, has a Pip, enhanced. I am a fan of enhancements. Play Fandangle, play Amberspine Mongrel, which is such a good card. Just adding to the Untamed Witches there with the Amberspine Mongrel. And he's got Hazardous 3. Okay. Draw 3. Over to you. Ooh. A little. Sorry about that. I hope that there's some random person that pops into this stream and goes, wow, that guy's crazy. Because it'll be fun. Okay. That's a good line of play. So, there's a couple things I can do. I can blow up the board. That gains me 2 amber. Does not get me into check. I can throw this out. Make sure that Amberspine Mongrel dies, and thus Fandangle, unless they start playing creatures against it. Scally Caper, my opinion, is pretty underrated. You get a creature for free for the first turn, and then you get a creature for 1 amber every other turn following. And sometimes a creature for an amber is worth it when they have things like Fandangle and Amberspine Mongrel. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Shadows. I will play Furtive Investors, which in this deck happens to be just a blank card with a pip in most cases, but it is a decent catch-up mechanic. Then I'm going to Nerve Blast, steal 1, deal 2 to the Gloriana's Attendant. I'm going to play Scally Caper. Also, with Pip Pip on the board, Scally Caper all of a sudden becomes a 1 amber for every 2 creatures. That's a pretty good trade-off in my opinion. I will ready, draw 3, and pass turn. So Scally Caper does not ready because my opponent controls it. And now at the end of this turn, it's gonna kill something. So let's see what we can do about that. Oh, we can do things about that. Oh, that's... I'm gonna call Dis. Used as if it belonged to any house. Still a Shadows creature, but this is interesting with the essence scale. And a card. That's 3 amber and a card. I think that's pretty good. 4 amber and a card. So I'm going to play Boss Zarek, who has a pip. Going to Essence Scale, destroy a friendly creature. Scally Caper is friendly. If you do, ready and use a friendly creature that shares a house with the destroyed creature. Ready Boss Zarek, reap with Boss Zarek. Boss Zarek is now stunned. Play Lucky Dice, get a pip. And now, Fandangle is online. I'm going to play Subtle Auto, who comes into play ready. Making sure they're all the same direction. Having Fandangle come online there means I net an extra amber for the stun. Not a bad idea. I was tempted to run Boss Zarek into Pip there. I think I'm okay with this solution. Gets rid of the Scally Caper. Forces the opponent to have to do something with Fandangle this next turn, or the game's going to start to get out of control. That would have helped to deal with Fandangle, so I'm good with that. Now we'll reap. Stunning. Stunning. And get one. Already. Draw 3. Pass turn. Clockwise. If you hear a great big crash, that's because I turned this too quick and knocked a stack of 6 Keyforge decks off my table. I apologize if that's the case. Okay, what do we got here? Is it time? I think it's time. I think we can't deal with this board like this, and that gets me into checks. So I'm going to call Dis, reap with Schuler. Place discard streak because it doesn't matter. Play Unlocked Gateway. Now, Restring Guntus is in my hand. When you have Restring Guntus in your hand, like with other things, you kind of want to play for effect. Playing or discarding Restring Guntus there does not allow me to do much. There is a not... I thought there was a not finished with you. Maybe there's not. I don't think there's any recursion in this deck. So I really, really want to keep Restring Guntus. Sorry, it's been a while since I played this. Really want to keep Restring Guntus in the hopes that I can get a lucky lockout. Now, comes to house locking and Keyforge. I'm the first person to admit, probably not the most fun thing to do. I'm also the first person to admit, done it before, we'll do it again. I will feel bad for my opponent while I'm doing it. I will also go, I got lucky. Because sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you feel like it up. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have 2 Mark of Dis in your hand and they don't have any creatures. So that's cool. I am going to call Dis. will play an Infernus. We're going to purge some stuffs. I'm going to purge Wild Wormhole and Pain Reaction. I normally, when I'm Infernusing, try and take from more than one house. I don't like stacking up the same house in my opponent's purge, increasing their chances. Going to play Techno Fiend. I'm going to Essence Scale, destroying the Infernus to ready and reap. With the Techno Fiend, I'm going to discard Flumph to draw a card. And that's my turn. I'm saving the 2 Mark of Dis here, mainly because I made a mistake. Also, I really like Mark of Dis. The house locking could come in very, very important. This puts me into check. Gets me there. So, okay. I will pick up. Call Logos. Yep, no way to keep them off. Call Logos. Play Sutterkin. Play Sloppy Lab Work. And Pip. I'm going to archive that and discard Gub. Gub is my go-to discard in this deck. I have a lot of creatures that would love protection, but I'm not a big fan of Gub protecting. So I just normally let him go. And this deck really wants to archive that TMTP. Allows me better draws throughout the game. Okay, Will Forge. Will be sad that held the 2 Mark of Dis. So, that messed up my hand. I really should have discarded these 2, and I'm actually going to do that now. That was a dumb play. I'm just not feeling like the dumb plays. That was a bad play, guys. That was a very, very bad play to hang on to those. This isn't much better, but it is what it is. It's a lot better than having 2 Mark of Dis in your hand. Fidget, Miasma Bomb, play Ransack, capture, damage, steal. That was a take back and a half. Pop the lucky dice. That was a way after the fact take back. It was awful. It honestly allowed me to play 1 more card. So, we'll see if it matters. We'll see if my cheating changes the outcome of the game. It might. In that case, the win will be invalid. But everybody knows you should discard in that situation. Okay, I'm going to call... I'm going to call Dis here. I'm going to play Restringuntus, calling Dis. Play Real Ash. Oh. See, that's what happens. Play Onyx Knight. Kill. Get it. Stolen. Then play Restringuntus. Calling Dis. Really, with Restringuntus in this deck, I'm hoping for one dead turn. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Hoping for a single dead turn. And I might get it. Who knows? We'll see. Dis. Dis is not good for you. Call Dis. Play Lord Invidious. And then I'm going to Stirring Grave. The Techno Fiend. Yeah, the Techno Fiend. Draw 2. I went with the Techno Fiend instead of the Infernus there because I'm up a key and I really like that Reap, discard a card, draw a card. So getting Lord Invidious in the middle there is going to be big. So Logos. Discard Binate Rupture. Play Igor to look at the top 3. Put 1 into my hand. Discard Sucker Punch and Streak. Play Redacted. Play Professor Sutterkin. Reap with Professor Sutterkin. Draw 3 cards. Wish I'd drawn another Logos card. Cry a little bit inside. Wait. Play Titan Librarian. I'm fixing a play mistake. Okay, ready? Pass turn. That play mistake was cannot play Dis. Instead of must play Dis. Still be there. Okay. Going to call Shadows. We're going to Master Plan. That. Old Bruno is going to kill the Restringuntus. Sacro Thief is going to kill this professor. 2 armor, so it won't matter. Fidget's going to trade with the... Nope, we'll do it this way. Bruno's going to kill the Sutterkin. Fidget's going to kill the Restringuntus. No Amber gain, but 1 turn of Sutterkins means you never want to see that card alive ever again. So ready, rejoice at the fact that I can call Dis once again and draw 2. Okay. See if we can get Titan Librarian online over here and get some stuff rolling. I love Titan Librarian. He's a super cool card. Just makes your turns better. Okay, I am going to call Shadows. Play Lamindra. This never happens. I'm going to Throwing Stars. Deal 1 damage to up to 3 creatures. Get that, and I get 3, because 3 creatures died. That is crazy good. Yeah, Double Sutterkin is amazing. And the fun thing with that deck is, or this deck is, if I get to reap with them once, that's all it, I mean, it's just once. And you're like, yeah, this is a good deck. Play the Yancey Gang. Now I have more Amber and get to play Dust Chronicles. I probably should have played one first. That way I could draw a card. But I'm okay with that. And then it wouldn't have mattered because I wouldn't have wanted to play it anyway or archive it. Yeah. Yeah. Sutterkin is a generosity every turn it reaps in most decks. Well, not quite, but yeah, kind of. It gets you an Amber and draws you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. It's pretty good. I'm a big fan of Sutterkin, Igor, Titan Librarian. The problem with playing this deck solo against itself is I have to look because I have to archive from Titan Librarian. But it's a pretty easy look to archive and check with 9. Yeah. 3 times Sutterkins and a Replicator. How many Logos creatures does it have? That's 16 cards if you ever get it right there. That's 16 cards for and 4 Amber if you ever get the 4 of them. If it's got like 2 more. Wow. Okay. The exponential increase of awesome just keeps going. I'm going to call Dis. We're going to play Lord Invidus. And I'm going to Stirring Grave. Oh, 9 Logos creatures? I'm going to discard my hand so I can draw up to 36. That's awesome. I'm going to archive old Bruno. I have a feeling I'm going to need that Amber control soon. Crackmaster plan here. No, I'm gonna play Bonesaw. 9 Logos, that's insane. Wait. Need another disc creature to make this work. That's okay. I'm gonna double doom the Titan Librarian. I think the archive is much more powerful here than the action steal one, considering I can probably kill or take control of the Yancey Gang, which is my ultimate plan. Is to take control of everything. Everything. All of it. I'm just dreaming of drawing 36 cards in a single turn. I've never had a Martian Generosity combo deck or anything like that, and the thought of drawing your entire deck and having it in your hand all at once has always just made me giddy. I get to play all of the cards. Ooh, that's a good hit. Okay. Does it say ready? Oh, nope. Nope, it doesn't. But I'm still going to crack the master plan. Play Scout. Because it gets me in check. And it lets the Sacro Thief fight and kill the Onyx Knight. Because the Amber control I can see is Lash, so I don't want to be lashed. Then I will draw 4. Oh my gosh. One turn? What do you have in there? Like, that's crazy. What's your key cheat? Does it have a data forge? No, because data forge wasn't in AOA. Helperbot? Helperbot key charge? I mean, it sounds very complicated. I'm sure it's not as simple as Helperbot key charge, but... The wheels in my brain are turning. So I forge. Oops, nice. Yep. Oh, even better, it's got Soul Snatcher. I really like Soul Snatcher decks. I'm going to forge, then I'm going to call... I'm actually going to call Logos here. I'm going to play a Titan Librarian and a Titan Mechanic. I'm going to Reap with Igor. Nope, put the one on Redacted. Redacted is why Amber Control is so important. Then I will ready. Most likely going to archive that, but we'll draw 3 and see. Yeah, definitely going to archive that. Keys cost 7, don't have 7. $109 Amber in 1 turn without breaking rule of 6? Is that just rule of 6ing your 4 cards, but like you aren't breaking rule of 6? I think I remember watching that video. And honestly, it was very, very complicated. I think I was watching it while I was doing something else. and I just kind of went, he's smarter than me. I just go dis here and like start stealing stuff. I don't get to forge. I need to generate. The problem is I've got a fistful of untamed creatures here, so I think I run them out and hope for the best. Right, of course, but like, can you imagine if it ever happened in a Vault Tour Finals? That's why we play this game, is those big plays. Umber Beast, Gloriana's Attendant, Trimble, and a Fandangle with Pip. Already. Draw 4. And that was a year with that deck. A year with the deck to figure out how it can generate 109 amber. Apologize that I'm scooting. Player has 7 amber. I'm going to move it. We're going to go there. Which is cool, because a year later, well, right, but like a year later you were like, oh my gosh, I'm still discovering something about this deck. Like, that's cool. And keep off. Is it worth it? Do I just Logos it up and go for broke? I think I do. I'm just going to Logos. We will poke the Gloriana's Attendant. Draw a card. Play the Sutterkin over here. Reap. Reap. Okay. Going to let them forge, so that turns off Fandangle. So I think I don't worry about Fandangle here, and I actually kill the Sacro Thief to put Lord Invidious further from the flank. So that's what I'm going to do. So, then needs 2 creatures minimum to put Lord Invidious in the center. No has 1 disc creature, but still turned off the forging. Hopefully can only steal 1, and I'll get to forge somehow. Draw 2, probably archive the Limitra. Nope, archiving the Nerve Blast. Forgot to put 1 on redacted. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I've had decks like that where you're... And I've had decks that I'm like, you're better than this! You're better than this! Like, I've had decks where I've apologized to my opponent because I've been beaten so bad, but I'm like, I swear that the deck actually knows how to play Keyforge. It just didn't today. Ooh. Okay. So, forge for 7. That's a Shadows. See, I was even playing the deck and I forgot that this was a Shadows card. That's what playing two-handed does. Now the funny thing here is with this deck, actually take that player off a check with Untamed because of the capture icon on Niflate, and then Punctuated Equilibrium. I will get to drop, and both my Rad Pennies will be shuffled in, or I can pick up, basically eliminate all of my opponent's Amber in one fell swoop. It's the same number of cards. I think I do this, because I won't get to recur my Rad Pennies that way. Well, I'll get to recur them, but there will be less cards in the deck. So we're going to go with that. 3 Amber, and I'll deal with 6 of my opponents. So, call Shadows, pick up the archive, play old Bruno. Play red penny with a capture. I'm going to capture onto Bonesaw, steal 1. Play red penny to steal 1. Draw 2. Invidious is not in the middle now, but I can make that happen with an essence scale into red penny. I did not shuffle, so I'm actually really hoping to be able to kill off some red pennies with that deck this following turn. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I used to have enough amber to forge. Logos. Reap. Draw 4. Cry. Cutthroat Research. So interested in amber totals, I forgot about the Sutterkins with that deck. Play Sloppy Lab Work. No, Cutthroat Research is not an artifact. We're going to archive that and discard Gub. Once again, discarding Gub. And then reap 3 times. Actually, reap twice. And I'm going to crash the Titan mechanic into the Fandangle. Yep. No. Titan Librarian fights. Old Bruno. Titan mechanic kills. To trade. That's the most amber gain. Also takes Lord Invidious further off. And if I get to forge, I just call Logos and win. So opponent is definitely on there to keep me off. Turns off Titan Librarian. I'm okay with that. There might be Fandangle shenanigans. We'll see. Can I get there? Don't know if I can get there with this deck. There's no double pips in here. I don't think there's double pips in there. Nothing's going to come into play ready. Maybe they have it. Oh, Miasma Bomb. Okay. So, Call Shadows. Ugh. This tastes bad. Call Shadows. Reap. Put Opportunist on the Fandangle. Gain 1. Capture. And this red penny is going to fly into Professor Sutterkin. Dies. Terribly. Crack the Miasma Bomb. Draw 1. It's Rad Penny. Okay. I don't forge. I'm pretty sure I call Logos. We're just going to call Logos. Logos, Redacted gets the 4th and forges. Reap with Sutterkin to draw 4. Discard. Reap with Sutterkin to draw 4. Play Pit Pit. That's 1, 2. 2 more Reaps is 3, 4. Hey, Slag Blast. I know, right? I would like you to introduce you to my stream partner for the night, Alternate Reality Clay. And we're having a good old time. And when I say we, I mean the Imperial we. I'm actually not crazy. I might be for trying this. I just reaped with 2 Professor Sutterkins and probably going to win the game. Okay, faster. Things come into play ready. I do not have a key cheat with this deck. Don't see a way, because Invidious exhausts, that I can win anything at all. Because in order, I'd need Ransack to hit 6 Shadows cards in a row. But I can't get to Ransack because I've only got the Red Penny. Red Penny does come into play ready, though. So yeah. They forge. Who would have thought going to 11 Amber against a Mass Mutation deck was probably smart. Also, should have killed those Sutterkins faster. That was a play mistake, I think. But sometimes you don't want to fight creatures. Okay. I'm going to do one more because I'm having fun. So, hold on to your hats. We've got Barely Ripped Paul, who is a key cheating grunt buggy deck, versus Fiona Dirk Chapel Shield Holder, a deck that I have no idea how it's going to play or what it's going to do. It's Dis Logo Shadows from Mass Mutation. It's got double Mark of Dis, an Effervescent Principle, double Infomorph, Professor Torado with a ton of mutants, double Bruno, Gambling Den, and a Borrow. There's a lot of draw enhance in this deck. Borrow's enhanced with a capture. One of the Mark of Dis is enhanced with a damage. Effervescent Principle has a draw on it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mutants with Professor Torado. So could be pretty interesting. Barely Ripped Paul is a solid Brobnar Sanctum Untamed deck. It's got Glimmer, Key Charge, Choda, Nature's Call, and the Untamed. It's got a Maverick Sucker Punch in Sanctum, which is insanely good. It's also got Flaxia, Persistence Hunting. It's a very, very solid Untamed AOA side with good Brobnar and good Sanctum. It's got double Flex, double Wallop with Grunt Buggy. So, could be some fun times to be had. And we'll see how Fiona stacks up against it. Alternate reality, we're going to roll for Barely Ripped Paul. Rolls 4. Fiona rolls 3. So alternate reality Clay is always the loser. Plays Fiona, Dirk, Chapel, Shield Holder, which is a mouthful. And Barely Ripped Paul. I'm really glad I don't know any Pauls, because I don't feel bad about keeping this deck. Because it's a fun one. And we will see what happens. Okay. Barely Ripped Paul is going first because it won the roll. 6, 7. I like this hand. I'm going to keep it. We're going to start off with a Calphine, one of our mascots here at PrimeCutGames. We've actually got an emote in the works that for the little cow that Calphine's holding that's based off of it. Takes emotes a while to get approved sometimes, so we're waiting on those. I will draw 6. And I will keep, because this is a funny hand. Play Mutant Cut Purse, Old Bruno, Spike Trap, and Gambling Den. Ready, and draw 4. Don't have anything to lose by gambling. Let's see what we drew into. Oh, didn't draw. So chances are it's Untamed statistically. Untamed. Ooh. Those Gambling Den hits. Call Brobnar. I'm going to flex the Calphine for 2. Play a Groke, and then I'm going to 1-2 punch the Mutant Cut Purse. Ready, draw 3. Might be one of the only times with this deck I've ever actually gotten the flex to play well. Most of the time I'm just discarding it because it's not really important to the deck, even though double Lollop, double flex sounds cool. It's very good in Archon when my opponent sees that as double Lollop, double flex, because they're always trying to kill the Lollops. Okay, I do have something to lose by gambling. 5, 3, 2. Statistically, it's Logos. We're just going to gamble because this is a stream. It's not Logos. Sad Panda. I'm going to call Dis. Going to Mark of Dis. The Calphine. Play a Dominator Bubble. Put a Soul Keeper on Mutant Cut Purse. Crack the Spike Trap to board wipe, because the Soul Keeper will, its destroyed effect, destroy the most powerful enemy creature. I'm the active player, so I'm going to choose Groke. And Calphine dies from the Spike Trap. Those 2 die from the Spike Trap. I will ready, draw 3, pass turn. I apologize if anybody's getting motion sickness. I'm getting a little lost, but okay, this is my hand. I get to decide. I'm not going to gamble because I get a key. I mean, I could gamble for the key, but then I couldn't get back there. So I'm going to call Untamed. Play there everywhere. Play Persistence Hunting. It makes me kind of sad to play cards for no effect, but then I'm going to play Chota to lose 1 and Forge for 6. And a key done is always better than basically anything else. I will ready, draw 3, pass turn. This is one of those things where I think starting with that many Brobnar in hand, let me draw into that many Untamed, let me move forward. Also hitting the Gambling Den was pretty good. Let's see. I'm going to call that. So, 4 Dis, 3 Logos, and 6 Shadows. So, statistically, it's a Logos card. I would like to know because of the Effervescent Principle and the Infomorph, so I'm going to call Logos. It is not. That's 4 Amber gone. I will play Infomorph to draw. Play Prescriptive Grammar Bot. I will play the Effervescent Principle to draw because I'm just going to shed my chain at the end of the turn, and it gave me a chance to get deeper. Going to Diametric Charge the Chota. And that's my turn. I will ready, draw 1, shed the chain. And probably not Gambling Den. I shouldn't have been Gambling Den, but, you know, times are tough. Sometimes you gotta gamble. Ooh. That's really good. I think we do that this turn. Call Sanctum, play Sigil of Brotherhood, play Merrick the Marked and Merrick the Marked. This deck has 4 of those. Is it 4? It's 4. 4 Merrick the Marked. It's pretty good. Draw 3, pass turn. Whee! Okay. Game, I really want to gamble and win. If I gamble and win, does that put me into check? It does not put me into check. It does not forge me a key. It does lose me an amber, so I would be at 5 amber lost. But sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. So, Dis. Oh, I'm probably going to clip this. You ever seen somebody be so bad at gambling? I'm going to call Shadows. I'm going to play Lights Out. I'm going to bounce the Chota and the Merrick. Francis the Economist is going to capture 1 under the Grammar Bot. And I'm going to play a Shadowsaurus, which is really, really good against things like Sanctum. Actually, I play them like that. And then I will draw 4. Probably lose to the Deck Zone Gambling Den because I lost 5 amber. So that deck could be in check right now. Pick this up. Okay. Even. I kill 1. Gonna call Sanctum here. Merrick the Marked, Merrick the Marked. Play Opal Knight, which will just kill the Infomorph because it destroys each creature with even power. And then this Merrick the Marked is going to Reap. Ready? Draw one. Pass turn. I could have fought there, but I didn't want to fight into the prescriptive grammar bot and capture one so that the Shadowsaurus could take it in case the opponent was calling shadows again. Obviously not calling shadows again. Dis. Going to Mark of Dis, Amber, damage, deal 2, have to call Sanctum. Play Waking Nightmare. Dominator Bubble, Francis to Reap. Discard the Picaroon, play Gateway. I think Mark of Dis followed by Gateway or followed by a board wipe is pretty solid in this set. Ready, draw 4. Have to call Sanctum. Wonder if I drew any Sanctum cards. Probably not. Did not draw any Sanctum cards. Go. That was not very smart of me just to turn the table like that. Alternate Universe Clay is getting sick of turning the table. Okay. Again, I'm just proving that Keyforge is a game you can play solo, even in quarantine. If you don't want to play on TCO, or you don't have the internet, or you think that yourself is a worthy opponent, I am obviously not a worthy opponent against myself. Oh, do I gamble here? My best line of play does not get me into check. Let's count up Dis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shadows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Logos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's literally 888. We aren't going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to call Logos, discard Standardized, play Odd Clawed, play Infomorph, capturing onto the Infomorph, play Munchling to draw a card. I would not have called this. I was thinking about calling Shadows, so glad I did not. Already, draw 3, and pass turn. Aw, thanks, sweetie. Having a very supportive fiance who gives you the idea to literally play Keyforge with yourself because she knows you're a great big geek is one of the joys of life. Do I gamble? Maybe. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure, we'll gamble. Untamed. Dang it. Never take me to Vegas. 9, 12. Untamed. Glimmer. Get back the Calphine. Chota, Marmosworm. Ready? Draw 2. There was a consideration there to get back one of the Merrick's or the Opal Knight, because I knew I was going to draw into Sanctum from the Gambling Den, but it's still a turn out, and I had much more Brobnar in my hand, so I kind of like to set up my next turn when doing that. There had been dreams of getting back an Amber Pip from Untamed so that I could Chota again. But I think just running him out with no loss is a good way to go. Dis. Obsidian Forge. I also really like decks with key cheats. Obviously. I think there's been one deck without a key cheat tonight. Play Umbra Fiend. Play Imp Spectre to draw. No, I wasn't going to gamble. Double Doom. I think we throw back the Marmosworm. I wonder if it's better here to fight with the Munchling so I can toss a Logos card. Do I toss the Research Smoko, getting rid of the Chota, or that's probably the case. That's a good discard. Yeah, because I still gain one and I'm dominating on board presence more. I still get in check, so I'm going to Dominator Bobble the Munchling to fight and kill the Chota. Discarding Research Smoko to gain 1. I will check with 6, draw 4. And pass turn. Okay. What do we got? I know I got a Marmosworm and a Sucker Punch. Got a Marmosworm and a Sucker Punch. Brobnar. Play Calphine. Play Ganger Chieftain here. Will ready. Calphine. Calphine is going to fight the Umbra Fiend, I think. If I fight there, no. What's my maximum kill? So if I fight here, that takes 2, and then fight here. He's at 4. He's at 4. Fight here, yeah. So fight here. Odd Clod takes 2. I'm going to Relentless Assault the Calphine. So with up to 3 different friendly creatures one at a time. I get it mixed up with one stood against many. I thought it was one stood against many. The math does not work now. So I'm going to ready Ganger Chieftain. Ganger Chieftain is going to there, that deals 2. No. Okay. Ready the Caffeine. Caffeine is going to kill Infomorph. Takes 2. Takes 2. Takes 4. Ready the Glimmer. Glimmer's going to trade into Oddclaw. I should have done this differently. Forgetting that Relentless Assault was up to 3 different friendly creatures made it difficult, but I'll still have more creatures on the board than my opponent. I will ready with Ganger Chieftain, and I'm going to kill the Imp Spectre here because I don't care about purging a card from my hand. The Sucker Punch. The benefit here is there's a 3rd chance that it's a card I actively want to purge. Rather take those odds than a 1 in 6 chance that it's a card I really want to keep. And Marmo Swarm. Marmo Swarm gets purged. I will ready, draw 4, pass turn. Allowing the opponent to forge here, but getting back the board presence that deck so obviously wants. Hoping to draw into the Grunt Buggy soon to kind of put the game away. But I don't know how this deck plays, so I will forge, not going to gamble, because gambling is obviously not what this deck wants to do at the moment. Logos. Professor Torado. Dinobot. I am going to exalt the Dinobot to kill the Caffeine. No. Deal 3 to the Ganger Chieftain. I'm going to Oddclaw. He has a damage. I'm going to kill the Caffeine. Get me out of that. I'm going to Reap with the Munchling and draw. Forgot about that card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, ready. Knowing that I just got board presence back, drawing both of those. And passing turn. Okay. This deck is going to call Sanctum. Start off with a Sucker Punch to the Munchling. Kills. Archive the Sucker Punch because it destroyed a creature. Play Baron Mengevin. Play Sir Marrows. Play Merrick the Marked. I'm going to drop the Grey Rider right here. Grey Rider beat Raiden. Baron Mengevin is going to fight the Professor Torado. Kill it. Take 3. Ready. Draw 5. Pass turn. The thing about Barely Ripped Paul that can be quite frustrating a lot of times is it doesn't generate amber until it does. And then it's crazy. I'm going to call Dis here. It gets 2 cards out of my hand. because of Dominator Bauble, as opposed to the only one I get out of my hand from Calling Logos. So, this, play Drekker over there. You always want to play Drekker again next to a lower powered creature than it, because it there's a chance that your opponent won't trade into this with like their 4 power. They might trade into it with 2 power. At least in my opinion. Going to Dominator Bauble the Dinobot to Reap. I will discard a card. I'm going to discard Boss Zarek. And then draw a card. Boss Zarek should be shuffled in, because if I do, then I draw a card. I'm an over shuffler sometimes, but somebody, I think it was Ryan actually, once told me that mathematically I think it's 5 shuffles. I can't remember. I could be misquoting him. Draw a card. Nice. Play Waking Nightmare. It's just an extra. Reap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not enough to Obsidian Forge. So Umber Fiend is going to trade into the Grey Rider. Grey Rider dies, steal 1. I think I'd rather have the steal 1 there and get rid of the Grey Rider, because that's a lot of Sanctum shenanigans going on. I will ready, draw 2, pass turn, hopefully being in prime position to Gambling Den the next key. Okay. Except for, oh my gosh, this deck is crazy sometimes. 3 points. Do I gamble? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I gamble 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't need to pop the sigil if I don't gamble here, because I've got the key charge. So I think I don't pop the sigil here or gamble, and just save that for a rainy day, because I don't think that this is going to be an obvious, because there's 8 left in here and I've been playing pretty even the entire game. So we're just going to go with Untamed, play Niflgrounds, which is good in this deck. It's good in this deck because it has a pip on it. Play Flaxia. I have more creatures than my opponent, so I gain 2. Going to play Nature's Call. Get a pip. Turn Flaxia to my hand. Dinobot. And Drekker. Play Flaxia. Key charge. Lose one. Forge for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play Amber Spine Mongrel. Ready? Draw 5. This might be a blowout. I mean, forged a key, so there's always that. The bad thing is the shadows is just, killing me. Because of the key charge and the Chota, when your opponent does that, like, what do you do? So, I'm just going to have to run a bunch of shadow stuff out. Pretty sure I don't gamble here, because that's 5 discs, 5 shadows, and 3 logos. That's, because I'm not going to forge, so it doesn't matter. So I don't gamble. Don't gamble unless you're going to forge. That's my new rule. Gonna ransack, though, to steal one. I would have called logos. That's okay. We all make decisions sometimes that aren't the best. Play old Bruno, Gamgee, Boss Zarek. And I'm gonna borrow. I'm just gonna borrow the Sigil of Brotherhood. You're about to shuffle, so I'm not gonna pop the Sigil of Brotherhood. Alternate clay, you jerk. Nope, he's real clay. Real clay, the jerk. See, even I don't know. For somebody who's watching this stream with no context, I'm sorry. Stop now. Pass turn. Okay. It's time to count. It's probably one of each house, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Sanctum. Didn't matter because I didn't lose any, but still, that's pretty terrible. This might have been game if I had the Sigil, because I could have glimmered back the key charge. Reap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it wouldn't have been. I glimmer back the Nature's Call in that case, maybe. Okay, we're going to call Brobnar. That gets a bunch of cards out of my hand. Play Grunt Buggy. Discard Coward's End. Play a Foozle. Reap with the Ganger Chieftain. Question is, should I have discarded this Coward's End? Because then I can do the math 100% gamble and no. That's a free 2 amber there. That's the decision point. Okay. So stop and think. If they reap it all, there's nothing over there that I'm worried about killing the Amber Spine Mongrel and the Ceramaros. So reaping's not going to get any amber, so they're going to have to gamble. They gamble wrong with the thick deck like that. They're down to 3. Going to capture any amber and gain it. seen. Got the Roxador and the second Glimmer. Arma Swarms there. Persistent. Yep. So, it looks like a Bond of the Armorsmith and Blinding Light are left in there along with the Lollop. So I'm going to have an awkward hand, but now, Flex Lollop is a trap. I'm done with the trap. I'm going to discard the Flex. Ready. Draw 3. Shuffle and draw 1 more. Also, pretty sure I saw an Infernus earlier. Nope, that was an Inspector. No Inferni in there. But with current board state, I can get to check no matter what if I gamble and win. Current key cost is 7. Current key cost for opponent is 10. If I need to, I can drop some more Broadnar creatures. Trying 1. Okay. It's time to gamble and win. No, it's not, because I can't forge a key. So it doesn't matter because Grunt Buggy's on the table. So at this point in time, I need to call Logos. Yep, gotta call Logos. Oddclawed is going to run into Baron Benjamin. They trade. Reaping there wouldn't have done me any good. Cermeros would have captured it. And then I am going to standardize testing, killing all 2s and 5s. Good play there because just turned the Grunt Buggy off. Which is why standardized testing is such a good card. Because you get to control the outcome. It's one of those amazing Logos cards for that. Play Prescriptive Grammar Bot. Play Dinobot. I am going to exalt the Dinobot to kill the Emberspine Mongrel. And play the Research Smoko. There was an argument for Research Smokoing before, so I could archive the top card. I don't think that information is going to help me. So I will draw 4. Pass turn. Okay. So it has a 5, so key cost is 7. Logos. Yep. There's no... Actually, that's a good play. It's solid at the moment. Get some clunk out of my hand. Yep. We're going to go with Sanctum. A Blinding Light for Logos. Take that, Alternate World Clay. Play a Bond the Armorsmith. Oh, pick this up. Sucker punch the stupid research, Smoko. Archives. And that, then Sir Marrows is going to reap. Will not be in check. Draw 2. Pass turn. Okay. Sometimes AOA has slow turns. Alternate World Clay agrees. Alternate Reality Clay, Alternate World Clay. Malogos. Malogos is stunned. What got archived? That. Ooh. This. Pick up the archive. Do I gamble? If I gamble, I might get a key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Odds say it's shadows. Now, if I play this turn right, I can Obsidian Forge, killing the Sir Marrows, and forcing my opponent into Sanctum. Getting a key in the process. Or I can risk it, forge now, have 1 amber, and a full board. Oh, -1. Because I'd still Obsidian Forge whatever I put the Soul Keeper on. This is why the Gambling Den is such a hard card to play. And I'm going to call it Shadows. Yes! And sometimes you just get lucky. Okay. I have appeased the chaos. Pick up my archive. I'm going to put Soul Keeper on Old Bruno. I will play a Picaroon, dealing a damage to the Armor Smith. No. Yeah, dealing a damage to the Armor Smith. We'll play Mark of Dis, gain an amber, do a damage to the Armor Smith, do 2 damage to Sir Marrows, you have to call Sanctum. Play Drekker. Going to Dominator Bauble. So if I reap here, that's 5. I have 6 creatures. Dang it. Needed 1 more creature. 1 more! If I fight old Bruno into a bond, that takes care of a bond and Sir Marrows, and sets me up to just reap and win with Dis. So that's what I'm going to do. Bruno's going to run into a bond, kills a bond, the Soul Keeper proc is going to kill Sir Marrows, I get that back. Opponent has to call Sanctum. So hopefully, not too many shenanigans, and I'll get to keep Drucker. So I'll draw 3, pass turn. Okay, there's 2 5s over there, so it's 8. So I can't with the grunt buggy, or win with the gambling down, because 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's garbage. And I have to call Sanctum. So I'm going to call Sanctum. I'm going to pick up the archive, play Sucker Punch to lose the game. I'm going to Sucker Punch the Dinobot for 2. Draw none, pass turn. Arg. Not like this. Not like this. Okay. Let's do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me 8. Yep. So I win. So call this. Reap with Drecker. Gain 1. Steal 1. Reap with Picaroon. Dominator Bobble the Boss Seric to reap. Obsidian Forge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forge for 7. Okay. Oof. So, if I'd been able to call a house with this deck, I obviously would have played Brobnar, so that all junk would have been out of my hand, drawn into the Chota and won the game. Yeah. Sometimes you're a turn behind. Sometimes you're a turn ahead. Well, pretty sure my phone's the only person left. But I appreciate every one of you who came and watched this debacle of a stream. I'm going to insist on calling it a debacle because it was fun for me. Thank you all for your continued support of the stream. Just in case you're wondering out there, you're like, why did he do that? I said I'd be back on Thursday. We'd be back on Thursday. I like keeping to a schedule. And honestly, I like Keyforge so much that playing it by myself doesn't bother me. Nature's Call was second from the bottom. I would have caused Barely Ripped Paul to win too. So for the night, Mass Mutation, this went toe to toe. Mass Mutation won 2 out of the 3 games. I don't know if that's a sample size anybody cares about. Or if my gameplay was so bad that it didn't even matter. If I need to do it again, I'd probably be better at it. So, hope you learned a little something. Hope I talked through my thought process a little bit. Made people see why I make some of the decisions I make. Whether you view those decisions as right or wrong is up to you. But, yeah. And so far, the plan is Ryan and I will be back on Tuesday. And thank you for your support. Have a good night, everybody. Afternoon, evening, day, wherever you may be. I know that some people watch from South America, some people watch from Europe, so you're wonderful. and we appreciate you. Have a good evening. I'll stop talking now. You may return to your regularly scheduled programming. Don't stand up at the same time I do. Good night, everybody.